Well, Sagittarius, it's May 2022. And you know, health is really about connecting the dots. Of course, we have the genetic component, the environmental component that impact our health. You know, we're born with certain predispositions and constitutional weaknesses. But this month, I wanted to talk about health because there's an eclipse on the 1st of May taking place in your 6th house here. As well, Mercury will retrograde into this area, adding even more fuel to the karmic fire, so to speak. So what I wanted to talk about was the connection between our desire nature, our actions. And it's not just about what we eat, about what we drink. It's a lot about how we feel, what we think, that has an impact on our health, our vitality, and our relationships as well. In fact, everything. Thinking is destiny. What you think is what happens in your life. That actually has a marked impact on your cellular structure. If you are constantly in a state of stress, then that is obviously causing the secretion of adrenaline, cortisol, all of these chemicals which are not very healthy for you. And unfortunately, and I've talked about this before, people, as an example, that are always angry, they are consistently taking a hit of cortisol and adrenaline, adrenalaholics as I call them. They're addicted to getting angry. That anger really, or that addiction really, is connected to the secretion of the adrenaline in the blood. No less than hitting up with some heroin or some methamphetamine. These are addictions to our own chemicals. So it's important to be aware of the internal process, the subtle forces that play out in terms of your karmic destiny. It's not just these outer forces or the actions. It's the thoughts, it's the feelings, it's the intention from within yourself that is having a marked impact upon your health and your vitality. And this 6th house is very, very important this month. And it's asking you to look at these parts of your life, the lifestyle, the diet, but also internally, the patterns of emotional response and behavior that may be, in a very, very subtle way, redirecting your karma to a destiny that is undesirable. We, as I said at the beginning, we don't often connect those dots to our destiny being linked to the very thinking patterns here, right now. We think it's got to do with everything else, you know, bad luck, or, you know, it rained, hailed on my car, all of that stuff. It's got to do with how we are intentioning and creating, consciously or unconsciously, the destiny for ourselves. You'll note also that on the 16th, there is a lunar eclipse. So there's 2 eclipses in 1 month. This one takes place in your 12th house, which again has a lot to do with one's past. It's got to do with unraveling the areas in your nature that were impacted by your past experiences. To add a bit more energy to that, we see down here the 4th house, which is pivotal. It is a foundational part of the horoscope because it relates to your genetic history, your mother, your maternal and paternal patterns, and how these also have a part to play in the intentioning of your karma, the way in which you make decisions. Of course, those decisions are based to a large extent upon the patterns you imbibed through example, through your parental and familial domestic circumstances growing up. So all of these patterns are playing out this month. That's why it's such an important month. And you have an opportunity, while Mercury makes its retrograde motion here after the 10th, into the zone of the North Karmic Node, to think about these patterns, to scrutinize them, discriminate, and understand deeply within yourself what is causing that. Now, some of these patterns may be triggered by the areas in your horoscope that are ruled by Mercury, which is the 7th house, 10th house. 7th house is the area of relationships, marital relationships. Mercury has more of a jurisdiction over Virgo. It is stronger in the sign of Virgo. So my sense is that for you, during this retrograde period, the relationships associated with your work, your employers, that sort of thing, are going to also be part of the triggers here. The reactive processes, that adrenaline and cortisol, what's secreting that? It could in fact be reactions to the way you are interacting with your employers and the people that you work with. So attention, Sagittarius, you have an opportunity to turn things around, change the course of destiny. As I always like to say, the future ain't what it used to be now. Pop it over to astrology.com.au, get more insights into your karma through the daily, weekly, monthly and yearly readings that I'm putting up. I've got some new blog articles that are also right on this topic of karma, reincarnation, past life habits, that sort of thing, that will help to build a bigger picture for you, give you deeper insight and understanding on how to create a better future for yourself. Drop me a line, subscribe, and I'll see you next month. Bye-bye now.